Okay, so today is 4.1 midpoint. So you're just going to do the midpoint. I think you've done this in Algebra 1. But so we're going to use the midpoint formula so we can find the midpoint of a segment by using the coordinates of its endpoints. And so you're just finding the average of the x's and the average of the y's, and that's all that matters. So this right here is your formula. So when you do those, it is, that's what you're going to use for your formula. We always use M to denote the midpoint point. So if you have this first example of find the coordinates of a midpoint PQ that has these endpoints, this is what I do. This is an x value, this is a y value. And this is an x value, and this is a y value. So these right here come first, so I call them the ones. And then the q's come second, so I call them the 2's. And then all I gotta do is plug it into the formula. So the formula reads, midpoint is x1 plus x2, and then y1 plus y2 over 2. And so you just plug them all in. So I'm going to take this and plug in for x1. I'm going to take this and plug in for x2. So that's going to give me -8 plus -2 divided by 2. And then I'm going to take this one and plug in for y1. So that's going to be 3 plus, this one is y2, 7 over 2. And then I just simplify everything and work in that sense. So -8 plus -2 is -10. And then 3 plus 7 is 10. And then I just reduce the fractions. So the midpoint is -5, 5. Done. Alright, so we'll do another one. So you want the midpoint again, so that's this formula. The x1 plus x2 over 2. And y1 plus y2 over 2. So the endpoints, this one is my x1, this one is my x2, and I just call it x1 and x2 depending on which one comes first and which one comes second. So that's going to give me -2 plus 5, and then that one is my y1, and this one is my y2, so 3 plus -3 over 2, which in turn I ran out of room because I write too big. Midpoint is 3/2 because -2 plus 5 is 3, and then 0 over 2 is 0. Done. Then finally, we have to do a little bit of solving here. So we got the M is the midpoint. It has x has coordinates of 2, 7 in the midpoint. Okay, so this is my x value that has coordinates, and I have my M, and then I have to plug everything in. So the way you set this up is you remember x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2 is your midpoint, and that will give you the xy for your midpoint. So what we're going to do is we know x is, this is the x1, y1, so I can plug those in. So I've got 2 plus I have no clue over 2, and then 7 plus I have no clue over 2, and that is going to have to equal 261 because that's my midpoint. So what you're going to essentially do is take this and set it equal to this. So I've got 2 plus x2 over 2 has to equal 6. So multiply by 2, you get 12 equals 2 plus x2. So x2 equals 10. And then I'm going to take this one and set it equal to this one because that's in the same spot. So I got 7 plus y2 over 2 is going to equal 1. Multiply here. So I get 7 plus y2 equals 2. So y2 is negative 5. So the point y, so y is the point. My x value is 10. My y value is negative 5. And so you're done with that. And the next example is S is the midpoint of our t. So it's just the same thing like we just did. So R is the coordinates. That's my midpoint. So this would be x1. This would be y1. This would be my midpoint. So I know that you add the two x's and divide by 2 will give me the midpoint value for x, which is negative 1. I'm just skipping writing all this. I'm skipping writing all this stuff here. So we don't have to worry with that. And then, so I'll multiply here, and I get x1, which is negative 6, plus x2 over 2 equals negative 2. Multiply. No, I multiplied and did that. Woo! Miss Lowry, get with it. So when you multiply, you get that. I'm not going to fix it. There you go. So I multiplied and got rid of the fraction. Then I just add 6. It's just like the problem we just did. And you get x2 to be 4. Then we do the y's. So you got y1 plus y2 over 2 going to equal 1. y1 is negative 1 plus y2 over 2 equals 1. Multiply there. And negative 1 plus y2 equals 2. Then add 1, so y2 is 3. So I'm going to take this right here and this right here and make my new point T. 4, 3. Done. So now you can do your homework.